Mayor Lori Lightfoot. Just to give you a little background on this, there was a woman in her home, and there was a no-knock warrant. They came into her house, and she said that the police officers had the wrong house. She reported and told police 43 times that they had raided the wrong house, but no one believed her. So this was the situation that Lightfoot was, of course, addressing right there. We'll continue to follow this here on News Now from Fox, but we are going to bring in a live update here from Minnesota. We have Fox 9's Karen Skolin. She's going to be talking about COVID-19 in Minneapolis. Karen, I believe there was a new executive order that was put into place by Governor Walz. Can you explain why it's been extended and what has been extended there in Minneapolis?
Well, the numbers are improving a little bit. That's what the governor was somewhat excited about, where we had a huge spike in November. We're starting to come down from that. However, we're still at about an 11.6 positivity rate. So we still have a lot of people hospitalized, and we have 304 right now still in the ICU. So here's what he decided to do. Right now, our indoor dining is completely shut down. It will stay that way. He announced today he will extend that. It was going to expire this Friday at 11:59 p.m. That will now be extended. No indoor dining, at least until January 11th. However, he is going to allow outdoor dining, which in Minnesota, we kind of chuckle at that a little bit. It's like 25 degrees here. It's cold. However, a lot of people don't mind that. They're saying they will go and stand around a heater and drink their beer. So he is going to allow a capacity of, I believe, 50% for outdoor dining or 100 people in an outdoor situation. There are some changes as well when it comes to education. It looks like K through 5 kids will go back to school full time in January at some point, I believe around January the 11th. They say, of course, that they're less susceptible to COVID. He is going to allow small social gatherings. Those had been prohibited for some time since before Thanksgiving. So he will now allow those outside. He's saying maybe, a couple of families can gather outside safely, something like that. He also says he knows people are going to still gather for Christmas and the holidays indoor. And he's saying, we don't want you to, but if you do, please wear masks, social distance, don't share food, that kind of thing. So that's what he has done in terms of social gatherings. Now, also our gyms and our fitness studios had been shut down completely since before Thanksgiving. We had a huge outcry from the gyms and from the gym owners. They were very upset. They said the science didn't back this decision. In any case, now fast forward to today, the governor has announced they can reopen 25% capacity, 100 people max, but everyone does need to wear masks and remain 12 feet apart if you are going to the gym. Another big one around here was youth sports. Youth sports completely shut down right now. However, in January, he is going to allow youth sports to start practicing. No games as of yet, so that's, basketball for us big time, hockey, things like that. No games yet, but he will allow to practice starting in January. But the big news, the big headline today is for the restaurant industry here, huge. Again, they were very, very vocal today. Some of them very upset still that they cannot open for their indoor dining. Some of them saying they'll open anyway. We certainly have had some situations where the restaurants had opened and gotten fined because of it. So it appears that could happen again. But again, those restaurants for indoor dining are not supposed to allow that to happen at this point, only outdoor dining.
Karen, I'm curious, what happens if they do end up opening? Are there fines that are put in place? How is the sheriff's and police departments handling this?
Well, it's really the AG's office here. So it's the Attorney General, Keith Ellison, who has been sort of sending out cease and desist letters. Stop doing this or else. So the or else has been fines, pretty big fines in some cases, $10,000, things like that. He does try to give them some warning. It's not like, oh, we heard you're doing this, we're going to go, shut you down. But it's been mostly in the form of big fines, things like that. And some restaurants are willing to take that fine. Some are even doing like GoFundMes or crowdfunding to try to pay for, the fines or the legal, legal action that might need to take place. So some still will do it.
Yeah, you know, I'm reading right here that the Minnesota Licensed Beverage Association is coming out saying that this is shameful and unjust. Do you see some litigation going forward in Minnesota from restaurants and other associations as well?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they have tried to fight this in court. So far, it hasn't really worked. But they are kind of banding together. They are becoming a louder and louder voice. But the industry has been loud all along. And they've been pretty upset about things all along. A lot of restaurant owners saying, well, you know, the cities are saying we can do this. And the next thing you know, the state's saying we can't. So there's some confusion. The communication isn't really streamlined. And then, you know, I think some of the smaller guys are really upset because they don't have the capacity of, say, you know, a giant restaurant where they can pack hundreds in. So these little bitty restaurants that maybe have 10 seats in them or 20 seats in them, you know, and they can only serve 10. They've been doing a really good job. And they're like, what are we doing wrong? Nothing's being traced back to my little place. Why are you, you know, kind of lumping us in with the big guys? You know, it should be more specific to big restaurants or small restaurants, that kind of thing. So a lot of the smaller guys have been speaking out, for sure.
Yeah, and you know, last question for you, Karen. I know it's getting colder out there. You briefly mentioned people are cool just sitting around the fire and having a beer, but you know, that's tough for these restaurants, not only the smaller ones who can't really fit people inside, but the ones who don't have the availability of a fireplace outside. So how are restaurants responding to that? Are they coming up with new, unique ways to have outdoor dining as it gets a little chillier?
Well, you know, I think you can only buy so many heaters. I mean, it gets cold here. You know, I think yesterday or I think on Saturday it's supposed to be 27 degrees. So that's the first day that outdoor dining could actually be allowed. You know, we're hardy here, but I don't know a lot of people that want to sit in 27 degrees. However, it was really the brew pubs and some of the microbrews that said, hey, let us do this because they believe that people will stand around, drink their beer, that kind of thing, maybe have some finger food, appetizers, that kind of thing, as they're drinking if they can. And so it was the brew pubs that were really vocal, and I think the governor was like, well, okay, I guess we can allow that, just no indoor dining. So most of the restaurants really won't benefit from that for the most part, but a few will.
All right, well, I'm sure we will continue to follow this. What did you say, when was it extended for?
Well, so it was ending on Friday night at midnight, essentially. So beyond that, any of the new restrictions or anything that's in place gets to start on Saturday. And it seems like the cutoff, it varies a little bit, but right around January the 11th.